Hi everyone, it's Andrea Yarde, aka Ands on the Street. Happy Wednesday and happy holiday hiring season. For those who are out there right now on this Wednesday, I congratulate you. You are a trooper because it is raining like cats and dogs. And I hope lots of success for you out there as you go out and put yourself and let everybody know who you are and how wonderful you are and why they should hire you for at their organization, right? To represent their brand. And for those who are hiring managers who are part of the event, who are probably winding down by now, right, for the day, thank you for doing this, right? Thank you for bringing people into the workspace. We need folks to be employed. We need folks to showcase their talents and represent your brand, right? So thank you for what you're doing. What I'm going to do really is to say a couple of things about some tips, I should say, for the application season. Different types of applications, your appearance, right? Understanding a little bit about scheduling and on being honest. So I want to talk about that honesty during the application. But again, those who are out there, I congratulate you. For those who have not submitted an application just yet, or who even started to apply or consider applying, please do so. Before you know it, the holiday hiring season will be over before a blink of an eye, right? Just like that. So I would encourage you to please get your applications out by the end of this weekend. There's some great opportunities to go out to hiring events. They're hosting them for the remainder of the week. I've seen some up until the 19th. They're of course probably going to have more, but get yourself prepared. Make sure those resumes are up to date and error free. You don't want to wait until you get to the hiring event or submitting the application online, or even submitting an application at a kiosk to realize that there's some errors and you need them to be corrected. So the tips I'm going to give about again is the application, different types of applications, your appearance, right? And just to recap the other two parts of it, we're going to talk about being honest and as part of the application process and everything else, and scheduling. So on the applications, there's different types of applications. As I mentioned, there's in-store hiring events, meaning that companies are hiring on the spot, or they're interviewing on the spot, rather than you having to go through getting your application put in and someone potentially reviewing. They are seeing you right there and then at the hiring event, right? So they may be hiring you on the spot, or they may just be really giving you this opportunity to interview and make the decision very quickly. Other types of applications, of course, is applying online. There is also applying in-store at a kiosk, which is an electronic application. And there's also the traditional paper application, right? Companies still have those as well. For the applications that are online, you're going to see postings all over at stores, right? Saying how to apply. Simply, we're now hiring. Big old stores on the entryways, on the windows, on the exits, right? We're hiring now. There are specific instructions that are on there. Simply follow them. If you don't remember, of course, take a snapshot of it, take it home with you, and start the application process. You may have to be required to set up a username and password, so just something to take into consideration. Resumes, again, make sure your resume is current. Know the information, right? Because they're going to be doing background checks, and you're going to need the information, of course, for the application, but they're going to be doing background checks, verifications, right, on the things that you input. And if they cannot verify your employment or other information like education or background, guess what? You may be terminated before you even start out. It's like when you go on one of those shows like American Idol or The Voice, where you get that golden ticket or they select you, but you don't go any further because, you're not prepared. Get yourself prepared. All right. So again, update your resume, know the information, be able to find the information to help verify who you are. Right. And if they reach out to you and they can't verify the information, please know that the details. Reach out to that employer and say, hey, your former employer or your school, and say, hey, we're not going to say hey, of course, but ask them to how this company can reach out to verify information, right? Especially for those people who information is from overseas. If you're new to the U.S. or you've been here for a while, and or you while before you came, the work history that you have is in part in another country. Get that information. That we see people run into difficulties all the time where they can't verify information that you provided because it's hard to get that. So see if you can find some way to communicate with a former employer or embassy or whatever it takes to get that information together. For the electronic applications and for any application itself, whether paper or electronic or online, what you want to do primarily, let's focus on those electronic applications that you fill out at the kiosk. When you're going to inquire on how a company is accepting applications, if it's not clearly stated anywhere, if they don't have that hiring signs, right, for you to apply online, which they should. Most companies do have that, but if they don't have that and they have the kiosk, make sure that you find out from a manager, supervisor, team lead, right? What's the time? How long will it take to complete this application from start to finish? Because there's going to be quite a bit of details you're going to have to be able to enter in one sitting, right? So you want to know this in advance to be prepared to travel, even to travel out to the store to complete the application, do everything in one sitting, and then do whatever you need to do for the remainder of the day, right? So scheduling is very important. Your own personal schedule, you want to prioritize your time around completing that application and making sure that you completing it in one sitting. Because what they're also going to do is not only have you input your former employment information or your current employer information, education and background information, but they're going to do skill and personality assessments, right? So you're going to be answering questions that's going to measure your ability, their measurements that they use to measure your ability to see if you are the right fit for the job. Skill set. They'll be looking at skills. They'll be also looking at personality, right? And they're also going to be asking questions about your integrity. Questions like, you see one of your colleagues stealing, what would you do? So there'll be multiple choice. A lot of these questions are multiple choice. So just pay attention to those questions. And that's the reason why you also want to have everything completed, because you're going to be doing everything in one sitting, and there's going to be a lot of detail that you're going to need to re-enter. And if you can't do everything in one sitting, your application will not be saved. It may be lost, and you have to do all that work all over again. And you may, the second time around, be frustrated because you're tired after looking in all that stuff. After a while, your eyes start to cross like that, right? From looking at those applications. Paper applications, of course, you can take with you. Try to take two. Be clear on them. Print on those paper applications. Do not use white out. That's why you should ask for extra copy just in case a company's still doing hiring applications, because not every business is a large business. They are a great company to work for, but they probably just can't afford the technology to do the online or the kiosk applications, and they're working on it. As they build, you build, right? Or as and being a great employee can help build a brand, and you don't know the little things that you do can also help make or break an organization. You'd be surprised, right? Just look at the news, at the things that companies do or employees do to help get a company fined, right? Or lose their ability to stay in business because of employee errors. So thus, the opposite is the great thing is, by you being an excellent employee, right? You're helping to build that brand. You're helping to make a difference in your community, right? So keep that in mind when you're wondering why some companies have paper applications versus the fancy, online applications or kiosk electronic applications to be completed at kiosks, right? Give a company a time to grow. Appearance, very important. Before you go on an interview and before you're just going in the store to inquire about information, Be mindful of your appearance or what you're wearing. What I want to say is a couple of things. First of all, before you ask, right? If you know the store, if you're applying because you love that store, it's a great store, you receive great service, they have the prices that you want, the fashions that you want, the food that you want, whatever, the shoes that you want, whatever you're going to apply for that store for, why you like it. Watch the employees and see, what they're wearing. I would encourage you to, when you're going in, understand that some businesses do not dress casually. Some stores you wear suits, right? Or they're required to dress business casual. All right, because it may be a high-end store or a high-end product that they're selling, right? Also, some places allow you to maybe show a tattoo or two, right? Maybe a piercing, but be mindful. If you don't see anyone with piercings, right? Or piercings. When I talk about piercing, I'm not just talking about regular ear piercings. I'm talking about your eyebrow. I've seen cheek, lip, nose, whatever's in fashion or whatever suits you. Piercings, right? Outside of the standard earring, or even some piercings all the way up the ear, right? And accessories. We're going to talk about accessories in a bit, but focusing back on appearance. Be mindful of the appearance. Know if this is a fit for you, because when you're working for a company, you're working to represent that brand. So keep, sometimes you won't be able to show your art or who your authentic self and personality in terms of, being tattooed and pierced. But remember, you're working for a company, they're paying you, so you're representing their brand. So when you're going in, just to even inquire, make sure that your clothes are pressed, not wrinkled, no sagging pants. Try to, people come in sweats. I understand that. Try to, I don't know, that's kind of hard. Just wear a pair of pants or a skirt or slacks, right? When you're just going in to inquire, make sure that you look well. Like I said, not when you're wearing ripped jeans, there's a lot of great ripped jeans, but minimize those rips. You see ripped jeans where your whole skin is outside or there's more than one rip. Try to minimize that, right? Hair kept. Be mindful of the color of your hair. You see, sometimes we're expressing ourselves. We may be expressing ourselves out of an opportunity. It may not be the right fit, so just be careful of our hair styling. You see me here with braids. This is a style that I have, from vacation, so I'm gonna be changing it up in a little bit. Just giving you a hint right now. But I'm wearing braids, but my braids are neat. They're I don't have like styles that are overly unique. If it does not represent the store that I'm going to be applying to, right? Be mindful of the brand that you are representing. And I'm not saying that here, you can't wear like styles, but just be mindful of how you style your hair. Make sure it's neat, right? If you have locks, make sure those locks are right and tight, right? Fresh, nothing like a fresh lock, all right? Braids, even, our edges, our hair open, out. We've seen a lot of natural styles being celebrated. Make sure it's moisturized and everything else, right? Kept, no lint in your hair or things of that nature. Combed, if your hair isn't textured coily. Comb it. Make sure, try to minimize the flyaways, because again, this is just for going into the store to inquire. You never know who's hiring, right? So be mindful of your appearance when you go into the store. Same thing for makeup. Same thing for accessories. Be careful. Don't over accessorize, right? Just keep it simple, just for the inquiry alone. When you're going to interview, that's another level, right? I'm gonna go into that right now just for a moment. Fellas, when you are wearing your slacks, I see a lot of skinny jeans, skinny pants for right now. Be mindful of trends. Wear, traditional slacks or khakis, business casual, right? Some organizations, again, depend upon what it is. Business casual may not work for them. It may be, formal business attire, right? That suit, right? So try to wear neutral colors. Neutral colors will be, of course, black, beige, brown, blues, those kind of colors. You could say certain types of green, like an olive green, if you're wearing that, navy green or military green rather, what they're calling that. Even that is a color that's acceptable these days. But be mindful of the colors that you wear and the fit of your pant, right? Also, you don't want a suit, if you're wearing a suit jacket, have, have something that's in your closet, your size. Invest in a suit jacket, and invest in a pair of slacks. But the suit jacket itself, I see a lot of fellas out there look great, but some of our guys, our gentlemen, or some of our ladies who wear these suits, their jackets are too big, and it looks like if it belongs to your parents, right? You don't want that look. Have well fit. There's a lot of organizations, if you can't afford a suit, if you can't, that Target, I'm not promoting, I'm just mentioning some names. Target, Kmart, look at those places for inexpensive suits. There are also nonprofit organizations. If you cannot afford a suit right at this time, which we understand it, life happens, right? There's a lot of nonprofit organizations, but that helps with suiting. You can contact 311 to get that information to help you get suited for an interview. Ladies, I know of Dress for Success, right? They help. There's certain requirements that you have to have in order to get a suit. You have to be part of a job, part of a organization that offers job training, and that they will refer you to Dress for Success. But for the here and now, that's long term. But for the here and now, it's Target, JCPenney. Where else can I say? Target, JCPenney, Walmart. Those are places that may have inexpensive suits. Salvation Army. There's also some churches that are giving away clothing. Do not be ashamed. This is your opportunity to shine and elevate, right? So I'm just giving you these tips, right? That can provide free clothes to you for an interview. Okay. Also, what I would suggest, getting back to clothing, pants, your waistband, fellas, or our ladies who like to wear our pants sagging, level of maturity, right? Just giving you a tip. First of all, I don't like it. It's my personal preference. I don't like it, but I understand it's a trend, and I've seen grown men even do it. But you want to elevate at this point. You want to get your mind where you realize and understand that showing your underwear is not a sign of maturity. It's a sign of you being still, caught in your youth. And I understand that it's a process, we're getting there. But have your pants no lower than an inch under your waist, guys who are wearing pants, right? Wear a belt too with the loops. Most pants have belt hoops, so please wear the belt. The belt should match your shoes, right? So whatever color shoe you wear, if you're wearing a black shoe, wear a black belt. If you're wearing a brown shoe, wear a brown belt. Beige shoe, wear a beige belt. So on and so forth. Socks, do not wear white socks. Wear socks that either match the color of the trouser or your pants or your khakis or your shoes. And if you're wearing khakis, I would say more match the color of your shoes, khakis, but really let's say match the color of your shoes, right? Do not wear white socks on an interview. Don't do it. It's not a good look. Now, ladies with hosiery, please do not wear white stockings. Try to see if you can get stockings or tights, depending upon the season that you're either applying for a job or when you're working. If you're wearing a skirt, try to get flesh tone pantyhose, hosiery. Let's just call it hosiery to cover all ends of the spectrum. Hosiery. Shoes. Try to, there's the shoes. Make sure that your shoes are polished. They're not leaning. If you are wearing shoes that are kind of run down, get them resoled at the shoe repair shop. Or if a tap is run down, get them retapped. Taps, I believe, run from $5 to $10 a pair, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've had a shoe tapped, but yeah, have those shoes tapped if retapped if it's run down, right? Because when you're wearing a twisted shoe, it does show. And I'm talking about when you're going out on an interview. Flat shoes as well. Flat shoes, after time you wear the life out of them, they start to stretch out. And if your foot is hanging out, the tips of your toes are hanging out, or the side of your foot is hanging out, or it just looks like if the shoe, the sidewalk is eating your shoe, time to change the shoe, right? Try to wear a neutral color shoe as well, not to have too many patterns on it. If you are a style maven, you know how to rock it. Just be careful of having too many patterns on your clothes or on your shoes, right? Because they can be distracting. Wear minimal patterns if possible. Ladies, with your blouses, if they are see-through, really I suggest don't wear it in an interview. I would suggest, if you are going to take that chance to wear an interview, wear a camisole underneath it or a tank. Let that tank match the color of that top. And I would strongly encourage you to wear a jacket on top, right? Jackets hide a multitude of sins. But be careful, because just in case the temperature may not be right, you may have to take off that jacket. So I would encourage you not to wear a sheer top if you're going to do so. No matter how cute it is, no matter how stylish you are, it may not be appropriate, right? So always keep that in consideration. You have to be careful of the temperature. Sometimes it's out of the store's control to gauge the temperature, or you just may have a manager who just likes it cold or hot in the store. But just keep that in mind. Wear knits also, fine knit, not too heavy, knitted top. Blouse, there's a lot of beautiful blouses, with bows right now. You could wear those as well. If you're wearing a tank, again, be careful. Remember that you may be in a situation where the temperature may not call for you to keep on a jacket, and it may be sweltering in there, or it may not be the right condition. So be careful. Wear a cap, sleeve, if you can see me here. Sleeves that come up to here may be appropriate for that interview. What else can I say? Jewelry. Now, I'm a girl. I love a statement piece. I'm one of those, I wear these kind of rings, and I wear big rings, all kind of rings. But remember, in an interview, it can be distracting. And also trends. Some stores, they're selling jewelry. Be mindful, because you can be wearing something that maybe last year, and it, I don't care. I will wear something that looks good on me, looks great on me, but be careful. Remember, you are representing the brand, right? So minimize the jewelry. Keep it simple. You see me, I'm wearing a pearl earring here. Now, I'm not saying that you have to wear a pearl earring to an interview, but, that's something to take into consideration. Be mindful of, wearing piercings all the way up the ear. We have some of our ladies and our guys, right, who have more than one piercing for an interview. Just one earring is enough. Take out all these earrings up here and here. Take them out for the interview. Be mindful of the brand you're representing. You're representing yourself, and you're going to be representing the store. And it may not be appropriate to wear this to work, interview, or to work, right? On your own personal time, you can do it. But I would suggest for a job, don't do it if it's not part of the organization's culture. There's some places that accept the tattoos on it showing on your neck, tattoos showing on your chest. There are a lot of brands out there who don't, so don't do it. Cover it up, right? That's why you also want to be mindful. I'm not really trying to tell you how we should live life, but be mindful when you're getting tattoos, right? If you already got it, you already got it. You know how to cover it up. But if you with makeup, right? But if you are considering getting a tattoo, anything from hair up or that's visible in the clothes, don't do it. Don't show it or if you're going to do it, like on the shoulder blade right here, you're going to have to wear shirts that cover it up. Some organizations are like that. Tattoos on hand, foot, everywhere, legs included, right? Be careful where you put tattoos. It may be stylish at the moment, or in your mind's eye, it was the best thing, or it may represent something, a family member, or, some remembrance, or a time of your life, or whatever it is. Be mindful of where you put your tattoo. Even if you think that you're going to stay in the industry, life can change. So just be mindful of where you have your tattoos, right? Having it in inconspicuous places, right? Places that are not easily detectable. Same thing with piercings. Again, like I said, the piercings up here, the nose rings here, the nose piercing here, the lip piercing, cheek, whatever, right? Be careful with the piercings. Let's talk about scheduling. You know what? Before we talk about scheduling, I'm going to talk about being honest on an application, and this is going to tie in with scheduling. I got to breathe deep for this because a lot of memories coming up from when I was a supervisor and supervisors that I've worked with, right? If you're applying for a job and you know you're not available on a particular day or time, don't put it on your resume. If you're not sure of your availability because you're in school, if you're going to put it on a resume, not your resume, your application rather, I strongly am discouraging it, but if you're going to do so, during the interview, be honest. Remember, when you're applying for this job, I understand that you need a place to work, but it's not about you only. A lot of employers work very hard and companies spend a lot of money to hire you, more than you know. They have to train you as well. They also have to make the schedule to match what's going on for the holidays or whatever time of year. They have to forecast based on previous year's numbers, right, for that season and for what's going on in the current market right now. They have to be able to forecast, sales and earnings coming in, revenues coming in. So they have to make those. And not only the revenue to match coming in, but also the flow. It could be even during the busiest time or the slowest point of the day, right? During the holiday season, they have to forecast, right? And they have to measure and figure out who is the appropriate person to put and how many people are to put for that particular time, whether it be for inventory, pre-scheduled things like inventory, store change, which their busiest times of the day, what is the trends, they have to know all that. So if you're saying that you're available, they're hiring you for amongst other reasons. But if you're not available and you say that you are, you're doing a disservice to yourself, you're doing this disservice to the organization, and you're doing a disservice to your colleagues and the customer, because you're not giving that manager the correct information, right? They need help. Their jobs, they have to focus on you as an employee and make sure that you understand your work and look out for you too. They may be on the floor selling with you, or they may not be. And if you are an employee who is dishonest about something as simple as scheduling, be prepared to have very little hours, be prepared to be added to the do not rehire list, or be prepared not to have hours at all. Nothing is worse than an employee who lies, and of course steal, but who lies. It is that serious. There's so much, and I'm gonna stick on this point just for a moment or two. There's so much involved with managing a team and managing personalities and managing customer issues and complaints. When you are working and you need to turn to somebody to resolve an issue with a customer and your manager is not available because they have to figure out scheduling, come on. That is something that's not fair. So I encourage you, be honest. This may not be a right fit for you too. We try to get experiences. We want to experience some things. Sometimes we have to learn, baptism by fire. But sometimes realistically, this job may not be for you. Why? Because of the obvious, right? The stressors of it. But your life itself may be very busy, and taking on this type of job may not be the right thing for you. All right, so to take that into consideration, you may be in school and you think you can handle everything. You've been getting straight A's or, 4.0 GPA or whatever the GPA averages are right now because they've changed. But being able to manage coursework and your other responsibilities and be responsible at your job, because your responsibilities does not end at your outside activities, but your responsibilities at the job and being able to keep up. It's not as easy as you think. And working retail, being on your feet or even sitting down, but working with customers and other personalities, it requires a lot of energy and commitment. And if you're going to do it successfully, be realistic. And also, being honest says a lot. People, as Maya Angelou, and I don't want to butcher this quote because I love this quote, but it goes to the sense that people may not remember what you say, but how they make you feel. That it goes to your managers as well. Managers, you too. Be fair to employees. That's another conversation for another time. But getting on this for employees who are applying for jobs, very important to understand that it is not only about you and also, your employees and about the brand, you're representing the brand, but also your family too as well. I mean, yes, we have family members who like to cover for their children and their family, make excuses for them, but they do suffer silently. You may not know this. It goes beyond just being honest about a schedule. But I had to stress that because a lot of people do not understand the importance of being honest on an application, that what you are doing is you're representing, you're saying, I am available to you. And again, life happens, things change, right? Discuss it during the interview so that you and that manager can determine if this is the right fit for you. If you feel like this is a right fit for you, give the manager that opportunity as well, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you would want the same respect. So I'm going to get off of that for now. It really was a bug, for me and for a lot of other managers. But I'm going to talk about the expectation for work after the holiday season. Sometimes what happens is budgeting. Not sometimes, always. It's always about the budget, being able to keep someone on. A lot of employers actually want to keep you on. They don't want to have to go and look for people again for other times to work when hours can pick up. They'd rather keep you in the system. They don't have to they do have to rehire you, right? But the process can be a little bit different. There's ways for they know that you're seasonal, so they have opportunities. HR has put in things and opportunities where it's a simpler process to get back on board. So really the rehiring process is there, or if they keep you on and there's very little hours, they'll try to give you the best hours that they can based on your performance and availability. If you're a team player, if you wow the customer, if you know your job, do things properly, because you can be a team player and love your customers, but costing the customer's company money by, if you're at the cashier, losing credit cards, signature slips, or giving back somebody too much money or taking too little, or codes, right? Putting incorrect codes, whatever is costing the organization money, you have to be able to know your job, right? So it's tied. If all those things are tied together, they will try their best. A great, smart manager will try their best to give you the best hours. And be gracious. It's not about you. If you're getting the same amount, I remember years ago, this is like 15 years ago. I don't know if it's happened to anybody else, but I remember a young lady who was working when I was an assistant manager at a store. I'm never going to mention the store. It was a great store, though. I was there for 5 years and seasonal, by the way. And I was there 5 years. Sorry for seasonal, left as an assistant manager. But this employee complained about everything. Everything was a problem. And, I can't talk about what happened, but everything was a problem. So you just figure out what the outcome was, right? Even down to scheduling, she had the same amount of hours as everybody else. How come they work on this day and I can't work on that day? Good grief, be mature, right? All of that is part of being a team player. They get the same amount of hours. So you really think I want to give you hours after you finish complaining about how come that person got those hours when it's the same amount of hours and everybody's begging for hours? Their schedule may have been, they may have been available, or they may have talked up when one of us are making a schedule, they might have been around to say, hey, I'm available on this day and that day or whatever. They had conversations, right? And the manager, supervisor fit them in. But you just sit down there and whine and complain, stop. But getting back to the message at hand, they'll remember you. And if you're a great employee, if all those check marks, all those things are a check mark, they'll remember you. And you will probably get the best hours. And like myself, be kept on for a very long time and have a rewarding career, or the beginning of a career, or some great experience under your belt that other people may never have, right? That it can be added to your resume. So with that being said, it's like about 35 minutes or so for this for these tips, but I thought it was important to share. I wish you all the luck in the world during this hiring season. The holiday season is going to start. We're going to start seeing holiday things, right? Things for sale soon, but this is pre-holiday season. I'm not trying to jump the gun. As you can see, I'm not wearing a coat. I do have my scarf. I just finished driving. I was at a presentation this morning, but holidays, hiring season upon us. Wish you luck. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're on my YouTube page, on my channel, please like and subscribe, comment. On my Instagram, Ans on the Street, that's ANSONTHESTREET. It's on my YouTube page, spelling out on, if you're on my Instagram page, please like, follow, and comment, right? I would say, if you want to know more information about me, just click on my link tree. You'll see my YouTube channel. Website information is coming up soon. I do have a website. I do work with organizations to help them improve their customer service. So my website is available, but I'm going to add it to my social media channels in a bit. I just want to make sure I get these tips out to you first. Ciao for now.